Get wicked! Level 158. Onslaught Station. Survival difficulty. Class wicked. Chillax with others. Rack up some wicked scores. Prepare to feel the onslaught. Level 158, more commonly referred to as Onslaught Station, is the 159th level of the Backrooms. It takes the form of a 12-station subway dedicated to combat with other entities. The image displayed on screen reads as follows. Get wicked! Onslaught Station. Feeling tired of boring life? Do you want some action to spice up that Friday night? Then come on down to Onslaught Station. We've got 10 plus levels of extreme onslaught action, radical real-time leaderboards, free drinks/snacks to fuel your game zone. Just ride the subways of level 11 till you see the posters. It's that easy. We hope to see you there. Brought to you by Onslaught Junkies United. Image caption: one of the many posters scattered across the level. Description: Level 158 contains 12 subway stations, each named after one of the 12 astrological zodiac signs. Only 2 of these stations, Aries Station and Pisces Station, are boardable, as the other 10 stations have some sort of invisible barrier, preventing passengers from exiting the train. Both stations contain 4 vending machines each, 2 selling food and 2 selling drinks. These resources appear to be infinite, as none of the shelves have been observed empty. Both stations also contain a restroom accessible from behind the staircase. Both are notably humid and have constantly foggy mirrors. The 2 boardable stations resemble the subways of Level 11, the Endless City, with the notable distinction of many posters advertising Onslaught Station lining the floors, walls, and ceilings. These posters can be taken outside the level, and are the only naturally occurring flammable items within level 158. Additionally, some of these posters advertise level 714, Future Funk Radio, thanking the funky dealer for providing the quote-unquote soundtrack and telling people to visit the level. There are 2 methods of travel between both stations. Either board the train and travel through the 10 stations, or enter the restroom of either station and draw a capital T on the foggy mirror. Every 24 hours, the station's lights will shut off for 10 minutes before reactivating. Residents of level 158 have called this event, quote-unquote, nighttime. During this 10-minute period of pitch blackness, any posters that were removed from the level will replace themselves, and all vending machines will shuffle their selection of foods/drinks. Lights separate from the level can still be created, such as flashlights or fires. Level 158 only initiates nighttime once there are no wanderers present on the train. No hostile entities have been recorded spawning in this interval of time. The main residents of level 158 are a group known as Onslaught Junkies United, or OJU for short. These residents are not native to level 158. Rather, they are wanderers who stumbled into the level via one of its entrances. The group claims that they were not responsible for the posters, instead deciding to stay after enjoying the general aesthetic of the subway and eventually cultivating a unique culture. They have no leader, leaving major decisions up to a majority vote. A few of their members have reprogrammed the touchscreen kiosks in both stations and given them a variety of features. Both kiosks can display OJU leaderboards and examine security footage of the train cars. Both have comprehensive profiles for each entity that may appear within the train, complete with a ranking system and strategies on how to defeat each. Each kiosk also has a quote-unquote sound test, allowing one to listen to the previously mentioned quote-unquote soundtrack. Upon arrival, a loud voice with a Californian accent, referring to himself as the conductor, will welcome the individual to the level, theatrically proclaiming it as Onslaught Station, regardless of which station is entered first. A random weapon will spawn underneath the seats, facing the station platform upon arrival at each of the 10 non-boardable stations. This weapon can range from conventional weapons such as knives, handguns, baseball bats, etc., to more unique items such as telekinesis granting gloves, water rifles filled with an unknown acidic substance, microphones capable of producing visible sound waves, etc. How some of these items work is yet to be determined, as only one person can enter a car at a time, and each weapon will hit an invisible wall if one attempts to bring it out of the car. Likewise, attempting to bring an outside weapon into one of the train cars has the same effect. In addition, 3 random entities will step aboard the train car at each station. The range of entities strangely doesn't seem to deviate from the MEG's database, as no new entities have been discovered on the train cars. One notable oddity is that unique entities such as Jerry, Blanche, the Game Master, etc., can board the train. This leads MEG researchers to believe that these are not the actual entities, but rather copies of the entities created by level 158. How this is achieved is currently unknown. The entities will remain still until the doors close, which prompts the conductor to shout, "You know what to do!" over the intercom. Immediately preceding the conductor's message, music from level 714, Future Funk Radio, will begin playing throughout the intercoms, and the entities will resume their normal behaviors, though some are notably weaker than normal. The exact reason is unknown, though some believe the train attempts to present a fair fight for each station. If these entities are defeated, or when the train reaches either of the boardable stations, they will no-clip through the floor of the train and presumably cease their existence. In the case of passive/helpful entities, the Wanderer can choose to either leave them be at the cost of waiting 10 minutes for each station, or defeat them. Oddly, despite the presence of several extremely hostile entities, there doesn't appear to be a way to die while in the train cars. Survivors of the train reported that when they normally would have been killed, they instead no-clipped through the floor of the train and ended up at the train station they originally boarded at, completely healed of all train-related injuries. The same phenomenon occurs if the Wanderer were to fall onto the subway tracks or get hit by the train before climbing back onto the platform, or if the Wanderer sustains injury serious enough to render them immobile, such as amputation. Furthermore, all items that enter level 158 are chemically altered to remove any chance of allergic reaction through unknown means. Otherwise, any wounds or painful sensations will disappear upon re-entering Aries or Pisces station. The train itself has been observed to move at very high speeds, but will only arrive at the next station once all 3 entities are defeated, or after 10 minutes have passed. Strangely, there is an observable front to the train, but no one has been able to board it. Each train car is spotless and does not appear to be damageable in any capacity. The cars only have seats, lights, and windows, with no railings or handrails present in all that have been observed. The doors at each end of the cars cannot be opened. Event cars. Occasionally, special train cars, colloquially referred to as event cars, will appear. The cars will replace normal train cars for the entirety of the ride. These cars have unique properties that indicate the guaranteed appearance of one specific entity at one specified station. The indicated entity will then be the only one to board, and must be defeated in order to reach the next station, with no time limit. Exceptions to these rules are marked with a diamond after its classified number. Below is a list of each known event car as of 07/15/2021. It should be noted that event cars only seem to appear when boarding at Aries Station. According to the OJU, This is because Ares Station is for, quote, more competitive players, end quote, while Pisces Station is for, quote, a more casual experience, end quote. Show event cars. Car 207. A significantly larger train car containing 5 centimeter deep water. The water is cold, but safe to stand in. The car itself is around the size of a small gymnasium, though exact measurements are unclear. This car guarantees the appearance of the thing on level 7, who will enter at Aquaria Station by erupting through the floor of the car. This form of the entity is much smaller compared to the real thing on level 7, and has significantly weaker regenerative abilities. Despite these factors, it is still incredibly dangerous and is referred to by many OJU members as a quote-unquote run killer. Car 740. A standard car, aside from the ceiling being covered in blinking eyes. This car guarantees the appearance of Entity 74, Argos, once the train reaches Libra Station. This instance of Entity 74 is vastly different from the real Entity 74, being depicted as a constantly spinning circular chain with 7 eyes inside of it. This instance of Entity 74 attacks by manifesting large gavels that can phase through the train car and attempt to crush the Wanderer, manifesting more powerful instances of entities previously defeated that ride that have incorporeality and flight regardless of the entity's normal capabilities, and shooting rainbow-colored lasers out of each of its 7 eyes at once, which have the effect of immobilizing the Wanderer if hit. When defeated, the eyes will no-clip through the floor, but the chain will remain, with one of its links breaking. This allows the chain to be used as a whip of sorts, though it is not a particularly effective weapon. Car 1042. A standard car with a Macintosh LC 475 sitting on a table. The table and computer can spawn at either side of the car. This car denotes the appearance of Entity 104, Photoshop, who will appear 3 times throughout the ride, once at Taurus Station, once at Leo Station, and once at Scorpio Station. Once it appears, the Wanderer can either sacrifice one of their weapons to immediately move on to the next station, or attempt combat with it and risk losing. The generally accepted strategy is to weigh the pros and cons of each weapon in the Wanderer's possession, then sacrifice the least effective one. Notably, one can sacrifice a personal item to an instance of Entity 104, though this is not recommended as the item is irretrievable once sacrificed. Car 3394. A larger car resembling a throne room. It is much taller and slightly wider than a standard car, and features a long red carpet leading to a staircase topped with a golden throne featuring a red velvet cushion. Once the train reaches Leo Station, Entity 33, the King, will open the car door opposite to the throne, walk up to it, and sit on it. The door cannot be entered during this time, and all attempts to damage Entity 33 will be ineffective. Once the train begins moving again, Entity 33 will summon waves of Entity 32, animation, instances, beginning with 3 and increasing by 2 each wave. As long as at least one instance of Entity 32 is alive, Entity 33 will remain completely invulnerable. Once all 33 waves have been defeated, Entity 33 will become vulnerable and engage in combat. Drawing a sword it refers to as Excalibur. It should be noted that this is inaccurate in regards to the real Entity 33, making this sudden deviation stand out. Once Entity 33 is defeated, it will no-clip through the floor without its sword, allowing the Wanderer to use it for the remainder of the ride. The sword itself is capable of defeating all entities with one slice, making it an incredibly useful asset if one is able to best Entity 33. Car 6786 Fun, a standard car filled with balloons and confetti. Uniquely, each station will spawn 3 instances of Entity 67, the partygoers, and 3 instances of Entity 68, Frowning Husks, Revision, party poopers, who will enter the car at opposing doors. The instances of Entity 68 are friendly and will not harm the Wanderer unless attacked. Over time, Entity 67 instances will grow in number, while Entity 68 instances will lower in number. Making physical contact with instances of Entity 67, unlike real instances, will instead give the Wanderer an adrenaline rush. This happens 10 times before the Wanderer loses the ride, making this feature a double-edged sword. Notably, the conductor's voice will change as well, exclaiming, "Let's party!" in a friendly, high-pitched voice. Car 7841. A car resembling a sewage tunnel. This car guarantees the appearance of Entity 78, Chronowisps, at Sagittarius Station, with the added effect of guaranteeing a saxophone in place of a weapon immediately prior to arrival. This is the only known method to obtain a saxophone on the train. Entity 78 will give the Wanderer 20 minutes to practice playing the saxophone before preparing its own saxophone and engaging the Wanderer in a saxophone duel. The Wanderer can also begin the saxophone duel by starting a melody, which Entity 78 will then match. The Wanderer wins by outperforming Entity 78, though the exact method on how to achieve this is unclear. According to the OJU strategy guide, in order to defeat Entity 78, one has to put passion and emotion into their performance. Car 99389, a carnival-themed car with theater curtains covering the windows. The car guarantees the appearance of Entity 99, the Game Master, at Capricorn Station. Entity 99 enters the train by shutting off all its lights and appearing in the center of the car, revealing itself with a spotlight before turning the lights back on. It will summon a table in the center of the car, with enough space for the Wanderer to use the train's seats to sit at it. The quote-unquote battle with Entity 99, rather than being a physical altercation, is instead one of 3 games: Connect 4, Battleship, or Candyland. Like the real Entity 99, this one will try to cheat at each game. The Wanderer can win by either winning the game or exposing Entity 99's cheating, to which the latter will dramatically declare it was defeated and no-clip through the floor, along with the table and the game played. Car 84241-Diamond, a car that seems to resemble an animal rescue center. The ride can either proceed like a more difficult standard ride, spawning 6 entities per station instead of 3, or change to multiple event cars at each station. In addition, a weapon will only spawn every other station, as opposed to every station. Once a Wanderer reaches Sagittarius Station, however, they will be greeted by Entity 84, King Rasputin Bartholomew III. All weapons in the car will no-clip through the floor, and all wounds sustained by the Wanderer will be healed. After encountering Entity 84, no other entities will spawn at the final 2 stations. The Wanderer can use this time to relax and play with Entity 84, and will be completely incapable of harming it, whether by accident or not. This instance of Entity 84's fur does not act as a portal to level 241, all dogs go to, instead serving as a portal to the train's destination, should the Wanderer get bored. When this portal is used, the train will arrive at the station 3 seconds after the Wanderer stands up. Car 140,906-Diamond, one of the more unique event cars. The car itself is around the size of one of the standard platforms, and has a table and chair in the center. The weapon will then spawn underneath the table. Bookshelves filled with books line the walls of this car, though none of them can be picked up. Entity 140, Blanche, will be inside the car immediately upon boarding, and is nearly identical to the real Entity 140 in behavior. Depending on how the Wanderer behaves, this Entity 140 will either help or hinder the Wanderer over the course of their ride via telekinesis, similar to that of the real Entity 140. Behaviors that this Entity 140 dislikes includes swearing, damaging the books/bookshelves, and impolite manners. Notably, Entity 140 will attempt more non-lethal methods of combat towards entities, such as disarming them or instigating infighting between them. Other than those details, the ride is similar to a normal ride. Bases, outposts, and communities. Ares Outpost. This is a meg base situated in the Ares station. The base utilizes the train for training purposes against certain hostile entities, while also documenting differences between entities from level 158 and instances from other levels. Pisces Outpost. This is a meg base situated in Pisces Station. This base is primarily focused on communications between other meg bases and research on the mechanics of the level. Onslaught Junkies United, OJU, a group of roughly 20 individuals that permanently reside in the level. Each member is in their late teens/early 20s, uses 90s slang, and refers to each other by nicknames. Each member treats the train like a competitive sport, complete with leaderboards ranking each of them based on a unique scoring system. Generally friendly, and will commonly assist wanderers who end up in the level with advice. Open leaderboard. The image on screen reads as follows. Note, some of the names on screen will be read differently than they're spelled for simplicity's sake. Onslaught Station, Top 10 Leaderboard. Number 10, Steven, 51,390 points. Number 9, Dry Diamond underscore 2365, 91,561 points. Number 8, Gamer Girl underscore Mind, 96,413 points. Number 7, Punts 15er, 101,843 points. Number 6, Damp Determinant, 102,935 points. Number 5, V1013 Top underscore 70, 205,489 points. Number 4, D underscore C 0NJ1 underscore DX, 220,742. Number 3, XXX underscore Grand Central Smackdown 79 underscore XXX, 343,997 points. Number 2, underscore Xenon Knight 43 underscore, 347,800 points. Number 1, Snapback 5 Leia, 457,048 points. Think you got what it takes? www.onslaughtjunkiesunited.com. Image caption. The top 10 leaderboard from 07/15/2021. Discovery. Level 158 was first discovered when OJU member XXX underscore Grand Central Smackdown 79 underscore XXX, commonly abbreviated to Grand Central Smackdown, emerged from the subways of Level 11, the Endless City, holding a poster for Onslaught Station. He began to advertise the level as if it were a sporting event, and invited several Meg officers to come, quote, check out the Onslaught, home skillets, end quote. He then led the officers into a subway, which then pulled into Pisces Station. Entrances and exits. Entrances. Riding the subways of Level 11, the Endless City, can sometimes lead to either Ares or Pisces Station. This is guaranteed to happen if one consciously thinks about Level 158 while riding the subway. Reportedly, there is a tunnel on Level 59, the Backway, that can lead to Ares Station. It is currently unknown whether a similar tunnel exists that leads to Pisces Station. There have been 5 accounts of Level 61, floating skyscrapers, leading into Pisces Station. Rarely, one of the hallways in Level 2, abandoned utility halls, will lead to Ares Station. Drawing an upside-down pentagon on the mirrors of Level 317's, Neon Shuffle, lobby bathrooms will lead to Level 158. Exits. The stairs in Pisces Station may lead to Level 11, the Endless City. Entering the subway tunnel in Aries Station after the train has departed will lead to the tunnels of level 59, the back way, while entering prior to the train's arrival may lead to level 2, abandoned utility halls. Entering the subway tunnel in Pisces Station after the train has departed will lead to the subways of level 59, the back way, while entering prior to the train's arrival may lead to level 72, the Call of the Crabs. Drawing a diamond on the bathroom mirrors will lead to level 317, Neon Shuffle. Using the quote-unquote sound test feature on the kiosks allows for easy access to level 714, Future Funk Radio.